So I would like to talk about what I think we're going to see this evening at Edith Cohen's reunion. I think that Stacy is going to give us everything that we need except the truth. She's cagey when it comes to her personal life, but is more than willing to talk about Ashley's bunions at her table. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Everything is in our business except for TJ's haunches. Like Darren Noggles. We want to know who's been hunching TJ's haunches. Isn't that interesting that TJ and Darren Noggles, they have the same tea, the same energy, the same ooze. Oh yeah, Darren Noggles. Maybe that's who's on TJ's haunches. They would be I don't know what the word for them would be, but they would sure be something. Although I think we need to focus back to the root or the foot of this reunion, which is going to be handsome Squidward herself, lying Mia. Now, in terms of foot ailments, I want you all to share with me bunion, wart, corn, or callus. Which do you see Mia Thornton as? Is she a wart, a bunion, a corn, or a callus? I will also accept gout as an answer. Gout will also be accepted along with bunion, wart, corn, or callus. Bunion, wart, corn, or callus. And gout is also an answer. All right. 2 minutes has elapsed, and I see we have our answers. I would like to thank you so much. Gout is an acceptable answer. Gout is an acceptable answer. If you wrote down corn or callus, I do appreciate your participation. However, Mia is much more of an insidious illness, so therefore she's going to be within the body like a gout, an infection that runs deep in the blood, an overdose of uric acid. And I think when you look at Mia's makeup, it gives uric acid, bodily waste, crystallized. That is what Mia is. She is bodily, she is show waste crystallized. Because we're gonna have to listen to this heifer lie about playing with her children's paternity. Now, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna enjoy saying it because she did it. So all I can talk about is what you did. What kind of a piece of shit mother gets on television to lie about her children's paternity? I'm sorry, that's a piece of shit parent. You couldn't come up with nothing the fuck else? Good Lord. I can't. I can't. That's why I ask bunion, wart, corn, or callus, with gout also being an acceptable answer. Hold on a second, I gotta blow my nose. Okay. Yes. So what else do you think we're going to see? I'm also, you know what, we're going to have a little fun this afternoon. So I am opening up the line if anybody wants to shimmy on in with their Cheyenne predictions. A Cheyenne prediction. Now, where did I get that phrase from? If you think back to a certain episode of Living Single, Sinclair James was reading the Cheyenne predictions after Khadijah had forbade her to call Dionne Warwick's Psychic Friends hotline. However, the Cheyenne predictions was printed by the Warwick Press. I just, oh my God, I just thought that was, the little asides on that show were just, oh God, they were so funny. They were so funny. So I've always kept the Cheyenne predictions alive in my life. Oh, yes. Oh, honey, we have an expert coming on. Hello, Broke But Bougie. What are your predictions for this reunion?
Hello, Alex, my friend. How are you? I want to
Good,
first give
good.
a shout out to Chris because I didn't finish cooking. I didn't fry my catfish, but I fried some tilapia. I was just frying tilapia. My predictions, I I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm only gonna watch it just because. And for you, my friend, I think it's gonna be kind of boring. They're gonna sit there and probably try to, talk about Mia a lot, but honestly, no one cares.
I think, I want them. I think we should tear Mia down, but let's tear Mia down for the right reasons. It's because, like, you could have come on and talked about financial struggles. Like, you could have come on and been honest about your life. I don't believe anything from you now. And you already couldn't keep a timeline of events straight. But I really, like, do you believe anything about it? Anything anymore?
Well, see, that's the thing. I think it's just, how can I put it? Mia is the gift that keeps on giving, but it's just gotten so old. It's just kind of like, yeah, girl, you're gonna lie some more. Now you back together with Gordon, but I don't think they're gonna talk about that on this one. I'm just kind of like, I'm thinking, what's up,
The gang's
girl?
all here.
The old
I
gang is,
saw you and I had to join.
hey, girl.
How are you, friend?
Like I said, I was just frying tilapia. Been laughing at Alex all day because between that Ribbon of Saul song and this one he just did about why you F like you do, I'm done. I told him he's got to add that to the repertoire so I can buy it for my phone because there are some people that I talk to and I would just love to come up with the why you F why you do. I would just love to play that.
Why the things you do? Why? And really, like that, like just like give that to the young women in your life as a ringtone.
Well, you know what? Can you send it to
As a
Stacy?
ringtone.
Can you send it to Stacy for free because she wasn't even doing that?
Well, honestly, I think that Stacy, like Mia, Stacy is a liar, but I think like she knew this was a homosexual, and I think she want like one. We don't. I think that husband is a lot richer than we know. And that's why she had that sissy in front. That she's like, oh no, this is who I'm going to pretend to be dating and pretend to be moving on with. I'm not gonna fuck with that man's ego.
But I guess the problem, that's the thing issue I had with me with Stacy. I love her. She's sweet. She's a space cadet. She could have just come on the show talking about going through a divorce. She didn't have to get this guy that she used to work with, who is a horrible actor, because he cannot even fake being interested in a woman.
He can't fake being interesting.
That too, but I mean, when he sat there and said, "Don't touch me," come on.
I I'm telling you, I think Stacy, like, I think that when she had him in those culottes and that blouse,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because you couldn't melt and pour. The thing is, you couldn't have melted and poured a straight man into that. So I was like, okay, that's when I knew he was in on it. The way he was floating in them pants, I was like, no, girl, you in on it. You in on it. And I think that's why she stopped payment.
I want to know how much were the checks?
More than Carlos.
Because something is giving chicken gift card. Something is just giving.
Well, no, I think that this is what she wanted. I think that this is what Stacy wanted. This, because think about it. She's a space cadet with the gay boyfriend, and everybody's like, oh, girl, he's not for you, aka getting everyone to kind of gather around her. And then also, it's like egg on her face. So she has something embarrassing about her that she's in control of.
Exactly. I was going to say, I find this kind of brilliant because I find her way more interesting and funny now that I know that she tried to rent a boyfriend, and even if we hadn't found out she was 2 payments behind, I could still get behind oh, you're religious on QVC. You're trying to make us buy into this boyfriend story. Like, this sorry attempt was palatable versus Mia's sorry attempt with paternity was not.
It just, I don't know. I guess my problem is, and we talked about this before. Because I think all the Housewives shows have basically jumped the shark because see, now you're getting fans. People are coming on already.
This is true. Yeah.
And they're not.
I think the thing is, the Housewives, we have to look at it like the Constitution. It is a living, breathing show that is going to change because it is reality and we can never go back. That is our reality now. Like when the Housewives started, also social media was not social media. Like Twitter was much more, it was not a way of life. It was, we sit down when Scandal comes on and we tweet a few comments about the show and maybe get a joke or two, and that was it.
But I think, let's look at Potomac. The most exciting thing to me so far this season, we're not even gonna talk about Karen yet. The reunion looks. I don't know who. I'm sitting here like, okay, because Giselle, okay. I'm like, the reunion looks. I was like, okay, but how many times are we gonna see Ashley in that MF kitchen picking up them badass little boys, having Uncle Lump over and his wife? How many times are we gonna see that? She needs to be on the end of the show.
This is predictions. Whose final reunion do you think this is? Do you think that we're going to see Ashley or Giselle? Like now that we're at the end of the season, and we know the reunion is definitely make or break for some of the new girls, but I also feel like this is when this is when they'll give you the package. And so I want to know, are we going to see the farewell packet? Like Ashley's divorce has been finalized and they announced it right before this reunion came on. So
they did.
Yep.
I mean, like, I don't think we give enough of a fuck about her and Earth Day Boy.
Well, that Hotel de Love, or that's
God!
That's coming out in March, and I think they might be waiting to see how well she's received on that show, whether or not they might ask her back. But word on the curb is that she was together with that Post Malone knockoff from the jump during being on that show, so that none of the shenanigans that she gets up to are real, because she was still with poor man's Post during filming of that.
Okay.
So
I'm not excited for this reunion. I mean, come on. Thomas Jefferson concubine just shut it down. I don't see Karen ever coming back because I know they're gonna light her up.
I think, you know what though? I think that Karen is medically retired. When you are Thomas Jefferson's concubine, I don't want to see her drink for 2 years for my entertainment. It would be too weird. It's like, no, you need your hab. I'm glad you're in rehab. I wish that you didn't come to us with, the shaggy wig, but you doing that to embarrass yourself for the judge.
Well, of course. See, the thing
well, let me ask the two of you. Luann came back after she's wriggled out of handcuffs for having a time sitting down. Do we want to see Karen like after she has some time, or are we like, I never want to see you pick up a drink again after that?
I want growth. I want growth because we saw Luann struggle. So I think we can learn from seeing Luann where it's like, okay, this is an environment where these women basically have to drink to be at work.
Right.
Like it is an alcohol infused environment. If the girls need to take a beat, have them take a beat. Also, let's have more sober arguments because these are some nasty people at heart. Let's have more sober arguments.
But see, the thing is, I think the difference is when Luann got caught up, she wasn't talking a bunch of smack, before her thing.
It was
right.
People kind of forgave her,
And she wasn't driving. Luann wasn't driving. And then she didn't say, I'm rich, I'm Thomas Jefferson's concubine. She was just drunk on her feet.
Now,
but I do think now that if it happened with Luann, they'd still be like, we're going to let you rest for a while and then maybe come back, maybe a year.
I think if Karen is smart, and because she also has a huge ego, the way she can come back but not come back is you're not going to appear on the Housewives show. You're going to have a 1-hour special with Andy Cohen, and he's going to ask you all these questions, and everybody's going to be tuned in to hear Karen talk. She'll say something, have her big swan song, never come back to Potomac, or she'll try to flip it into her own series of Karen dealing with her, her issues, healthy. I can see her doing that. And then that way she never has to address her coworkers. Her ego is that big.
I can see her having,
I don't want to see it.
I can see her ego being that big. What I can't see is the public interest being that big. I don't think there is a sit down with, I think I would get a TV show before she would, to be dead honest. And I think that she, I don't think that there's any chance of a sit down with Andy at this juncture. I think the public reaction, I think a public reaction had been different, then there might be a sit down coming. Because, if there's public reaction, then there's public reaction. But I think everybody being irritated with her for not showing up to the reunion and people still wanting to hold her accountable. And I'm like, you can't hold someone accountable for an addiction. There's nothing there. There's nothing.
Alex, we want to hear Karen's voice. If they did a special with regular Robin,
nobody wants that.
Remember when
Andy special did they do? When did they?
Oh, right, Rob.
I'm talking about how Andy had Robin, and it was the two of them, and he was quizzing her about her lying.
He did an interview with her on Watch What Happens Live, didn't he?
On Watch What? Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I take a Karen Huger interview where maybe Andy asked her, why did you even try to say that you were innocent? But I don't want to spin off. Not interested.
Oh no, she'll try. I was going to say she'll try to spin it.
I'm not interested in her even on Watch What Happens Live. I feel like you know, all there is you have a problem, and we just want you to get help. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just feel like, what would the real question be? Why did you drive? You were drunk. You clearly thought you could drive. You clearly weren't thinking because you thought you was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. It's like, girl, you was drunk like that. And you apparently stay drunk all the time, so much that it's scary and it's dark. And they've kept this. And now Rob wants to say, Well, where the hell is Juan?
That's interesting, because I don't know if any of you noticed that she was particularly slushy. Like, I do realize that people had said that, but like, I never noticed Karen as messy as like Dorinda or Sonia
Yeah.
or even Shannon had gotten when she was talking about Gina's kids and stuff. Like, I just never saw it in the same light. So it did catch me a bit by surprise.
Like I
She
said,
hit it better.
She hit it.
I'm a quote Nicole M in the chat. Without Karen, I'm not excited at all. Ashley gave nothing. Giselle gave nothing. Mia gave too much. But here's the key thing that I noticed about Nicole M's comment to show you how dry this season was. She didn't even mention the other people on the show. That's how dry it was. She didn't mention Wendy. She didn't mention what was the girl with the football player? Because I don't forgot her name. Was it Jasmine?
What was her name?
Was it
I wanted to talk about the failures. I wanted to talk about the failures. We squad of failures. It is a squad of failures. Like, you had people with storyline, and then you had the failures. Starting with Jizzy, it was nice that, like, here's the thing. I feel like the same thing has happened with Kenya. You can only be a bitch for so long before it's not interesting. And Giselle, like, you don't have Robin, and also you realize we're tired of seeing you be a bitch to these women. If that's all you have to bring, you don't have anything. We want to see you actually have friendship and sisterhood rather than just be a hating heifer.
Totally. Because I was done after the Chris crap. I was like, you are reaching so far up the colon. You are trying to talk like a hand puppet.
Here's another thing. They were talking about how on these other Real Housewives, how it's hard to recruit people. Because it's always been a thing. They say you can't sue another cast member. Because I'm sorry, Candace with Giselle and that Chris thing, ain't no way in hell. There ain't no way. I don't even respect Candace for that, because I've been like, no, see that's on that Carlos King. Because doesn't this producer over here used to work with Carlos King, the Eric guy, whatever.
His protege?
Same playbook.
Yeah, well, I feel like Potomac has been struggling, honestly, for a minute.
Oh, yes.
Honestly, I feel like they've been mediocre seasons.
Yes.
I was going to say this was a better season because it wasn't so dark, but we still were missing the mark. And I think it's because of the failures. Like, you had a decent reunion, you had a skirmish, but, we brought Kay back. Kay brought nothing but an ashy and unattractive man. Jazzy, you should have been on Basketball Wives, and we could have ignored you over there a little more thoroughly. Jacqueline, your mother should have swallowed you.
Let me tell you something. To me, this season reminded me of the WAG show with Sherelle Rosado. Nothing.
I did episode 1 of that. Sherelle Rosado is I would take my money elsewhere. I would not work with her. Thing. That woman gives me the creeps. She has a nasty spirit comes through the screen.
I'm just so disappointed. I was so disappointed in her because, see, here's the thing. She want to be famous so bad, like Chad. Is not even funny because I watched Nightcap with Uncle Ocho, and she was talking sometimes. Then she did the interview with Carlos King. But Aaron, as a woman, if I get on Twitter and announce the breakup, see right there, she all that I'm a boss beach. See you and your masculine. She should have just sat back and said nothing. Let Chad talk about y'all broke up and why y'all did.
Sherelle is famous. I don't know anyone that doesn't know the devil.
See, she does not have enough personality to be the devil. Devil has personality. I mean, I generally like her, and I mean, she has admitted that she's going to therapy and she has some issues. But this women with all this masculine energy, and I'm sitting up here like, sometimes when you talk too much about your ain't ish, you don't want to end up looking like the bigger fool.
Yes, because you put enough in and keeping yourself around it. I am genuinely like there's just she was too mean to Rick Ross's girlfriend for me. Like, why? Why do you care that much?
Oh,
Like,
she had to do an
how many
apology
times
tour.
did you watch that video?
She did an apology tour with the girl Stormy on Jesse Wu's thing. She also did one with Funky because I looked at it. See, the problem is she's one of those that, okay, I've seen all these other reality shows. I'm going to take little things that they do and I'm going to do it myself. Well, see, first of all, everybody call you bootleg Evelyn Lozada. That's the first thing. Even though she's got more going for her than Evelyn. I mean, the sister got a business. I'm not mad at her on that. And she thought it was being funny, but the public took her serious. Who comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I was in a bad marriage and Chad has always been my crush. So yeah, even though I was married, basically the marriage was over, but you still legally married. I reached out to him first." The public lit her up over that.
Hold on. Evelyn Lozada had a business. She just ran it into the ground. Look at Shanice.
True. Oh yeah. Yes.
Shanice got pregnant by the game. That Shanice was her business and she ran her into the ground.
Well, wait a minute. You forgot her other business. Her shoe store, where when Wendy Williams tried to talk about her having that baby boy, and Evelyn said, and I remember your husband coming in there and he bought a size 7. And what do you wear? I'll never forget when she said that. I was like, okay, I'm not mad at you. Touche. But I have to admit, even that show was a little more interesting than Potomac, even though, because see, all of them to me are going to a love and hip hop type of thing. Beverly Hills isn't. I stopped looking at Salt Lake City because you know me, Alex, we had this conversation. Mary needs some African American black women on there, and we never hear from her again. Because I can't deal with her.
Mary?
I think Mary might leave now that she got her son out of rehab. I think she went in just to cover that rehab. And ain't nothing wrong with it. I respect her for it.
I think Mary's coming back. I think she had a good season. They gave her a great edit. I found myself laughing. The little girls don't have purses line took me out. I think Mary will have another season. But
that I don't know what it
took
is.
Me out. Yeah.
Girls don't have purses.
Because little girls don't have purses. Out.
And it's like, I remember little girls having purses.
Well, it's like just the way she doesn't even get it because she was reasoning and that was reason. She talked about stealing bread, and that was recent because little girls don't have purses. Took me out. That was funny, I will say. But that's a side note because I am curious about what they're gonna try and drum up for next season for Salt Lake City because I do feel like although it was a good season, they are very prone to try too hard.
Can somebody tell me what Wendy did this season on Potomac?
Oh my God, girl! Like I said, so the failures.
We keep forgetting to even talk about her.
Okay, well, you see, well, you know what? I will give Wendy a pass because Wendy, they were beating up on her ass so hard for 3 seasons.
True.
It's like, okay, we finally she deserved a season where she just got to be. And it was nice to see her get along with Giselle and try to get along with Karen. So this was the season of we're giving Wendy a fair shake. So that's why they were like, okay, we're going to let Wendy breathe. Because Wendy was the focal point. She was getting popped with purses and everything else. So Wendy's earned her stripes.
She got accused of being a bad thing in Nigerian culture last year. Her mama got accused of being a witch.
Right. Yeah, and then Necca didn't come back. Like a Necca wafer, you don't hear about her anymore.
And that's just to show you about the men producers. I did not look at last season, but because Robin was on it, I just couldn't do it. I just looked at your reviews, Alex. But here's another thing about these male producers. You're an African American, and you're going to have Africans on the show arguing over the colonizer's religion. I tell you, boy, I want to know Carlos King and Eric, their producers, how are they mamas treated by their daddies? Because I'm just getting her. Your mama was never picked or appreciated. That's the energy I'm getting. Kind of like Tyler Perry's mama was in that bad marriage, and every time you look at a Tyler Perry movie, the women don't fare too well.
I mean, and then whenever you have a Carlos King reality show, the women don't fare too well. I mean, I feel like, why can't Carlos find some women that, let their husbands cheat in peace with pride? Have a show about polyamorous relationships, and it's where there's no secret and everybody's honest and grown. We were married for 20 years and we decided, you know what, we're gonna open this joker up. Get some of your sissies on there, Carlos. Where's your circle?
Well, there was a show. I don't know if he did it. It was only one season. It was called Ladies Who List. These Black real estate agents, and one of them was dealing with somebody who was going to be in a polyamorous relationship.
But I want way more polyamorous plot lines in 2025. Let's be honest. I want the cheating in peace. Tired of the cheating place, like please, because Mel and Coleslaw, y'all were sharing that. I mean, ooh, you was like that was timeshare song. Y'all had a schedule, and she wanted to whine, girl, boom, like I can't. But now, do you think that Love and Marriage Huntsville is over without Melody?
Yeah, because I might watch an episode or two when it comes back, because Mel will be gone. So it's gonna be Game of Thrones, because see, Mel was the person that you deflected to. See, now all your business gonna really be out in the street. You can't talk about Mel. Kimmy, such a disappointing pick me. She really disappointed me. Tessa, I'm sorry. Teth Methods can't talk about Mel did her wrong. See,
oh God,
Teth Methods. See, I don't think it's gonna really last. I really don't. All their business is gonna really be out the street. Now they're so ridiculous. They will probably talk about Mel the first episode.
Oh, they're going to talk about Mel for the first season. Now, just being Erica said, I think Ashley let everyone bully her to divorce. She could have had widow money.
That's a point.
How old is Coot Darby?
I think Coot Darby was gonna fleece her no matter what. I think in his will he's given it to his first round of children. I don't think Ashley would have had widow money. I think she would have had just as paltry of a sum as she's getting in the divorce. Maybe a couple of $100,000 more.
Yeah, I think she had to get the divorce because, see, Michael gives me the type of person that they live in separate lives, but he ain't gonna want nobody. He ain't gonna want Ashley to date nobody.
Yeah, and she kind of alluded to on this season that, like, him still paying the bills, she had to be kind of more agreeable or whatever, but
he's worth $20 million and he's 65, so still young enough to cause issue.
I just think he doesn't want her to have his money.
Yeah.
And she didn't play it right because she re-signed the NUP. She agreed to a bad NUP. She nupped and upped. The two kids didn't help enough. She anchored some child support, but
see, she took too much. She let them women gas her up. Just like just being
wrong. She should have had, if she had just waited, that submarine would have done all the work for her. I will say this, and this is, and I feel like this has happened with Kay. You cannot ask your husband to come on this show with you, he has to want to do it. Like you have and that's not meaning that he's standing in your way and doesn't want you to find happiness in your life. It means he doesn't want to be a reality star, and that's okay. It also means he doesn't want your relationship to be a focal point of something. That is also okay. Like I feel like that's why they had the issue with the non-disparagement clause. But it's like you can't, like, she played it wrong because you found a guy with millions of dollars to marry you, and then you want to become a celebrity. It's like, girl, no, that was not part of the plan. He didn't.
Well, she landed him with threesomes that she didn't want to keep up. That's where she really went wrong.
I got a friend who happens to be white. Now that I think about it, is the reason why.
Now that you think about it,
yeah, not don't shade, girl, because she got it. She was dating a guy who liked threesomes. She did it. She gets the ring. She gets married. Once she got married, she wanted to flip up. And see, he was like, nah, you gonna keep doing what you was doing before we got married. And see, I think Ashley was on I got these kids now. This is something I don't need to be doing. They're gonna be watching the show eventually. And Michael was like, It's like the women that do BJs, and as soon as they say I do, they stop. Alex, you have that look on your face.
I'm just thinking about what her settlement was for them 2 kids and if it was worth it for her.
Well, Ashley need to go to a therapist because she keeps trying to find her daddy. Because I'm sitting here going, girl, go and try the brothers right now. You tried to, Michael did you just like your daddy, left you high and dry. Left you high and dry. Girl. You didn't get the money that you were supposed to get because she was talking too much, just like Just Being Erica said. Let them other women gas her up when she should have just played it cool.
They did gas her up. And they're still supposedly gassing her up, saying, oh, she got a lot. And I'm like, I don't think she did.
I think that
she was smart. If she was smart with the show money, I mean, them trying to, oh God, if I hear about GNA.
Oh no.
Has anybody seen it? Is it out?
Does anybody care, even if it is?
Didn't somebody say the website not working?
Oh, let's check.
Check, boo.
They said they're doing some rebrand into more of like health lifestyle in general and not just the workout wear, which I don't exactly look at Giselle as like the example of perfect health.
No.
Just saying.
I'm still laughing when Giselle made a comment about her ex-husband's wife, which showed me you still love him, because when you don't care, you wouldn't say anything. And Miss Mamas, the pastor, came back and said, honey, being a mean girl ages you. Baby, I tell you, I hollered. You know Candace was somewhere hollering neck.
Chris and I were talking privately, I think, but I can share this conversation. We were just like, it's no biggie. Because I was like, why didn't we remember when we went to BravoCon and we filmed that segment with Giselle because we had that picture with her, but it's never aired?
Yes.
I was talking with him, I was like, we really stood firm on her low opinion of her in her face.
Because I remember
that's why it never aired. And we weren't reading about it at all. We were so, we were really, in our reviewer of the show bag, where it's like, well, you've done these things on the show. Like, we were ready for an interview. We were really low-key giving interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we so stood on business and had examples.
I know.
Yeah, they tried to get you to have egg on your face, and you were like, no, we'll tell it to your face, Giselle.
Yep.
To your face. To where she was like, well, I'm good with my kids, right?
Like
And
I
I
said,
said, oh, well, we really would know. We only see you for 41 minutes on a reality show.
but let's think about it. What has Giselle done on her own by herself? Nothing. The Every Hue. Now, when that first came out, I was gonna go to Target to look for it. I was like, I'm gonna support the sister, but it seemed to me, I don't really think you was really a part of the business. I think you was just a model, and you might have had a tiny percent of ownership because we never got a straight answer what happened to it.
I mean, well, it was also like, that's such a great question because it was such a great thing. And I mean, even if you were just the face, even if you were Lady Eloise, it was still, a stepping stone where you could have, gotten more involved in the business and whatnot. And here's the thing, Jizzy, we knew you didn't have $3 to invest in nothing. So
True.
you only got your face is all you had. That's all you ever had.
Alex, I just want you to look over in the chat. You have an international chat. I think you might want to shout her out.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you very
You
much.
are so pretty.
Yes.
With the pounds. International, Alex. International.
Here. We're worldwide. Candy, we are worldwide.
Joel Meyer said Every Hue was everything but in view. That's a good one.
Oh, that's funny.
But also like why have you couldn't get another line? Safari had a lip chap line.
Say what?
Safari had a lip chap line from Flavor of Love. She called it lip chap. Very specific it was. I think she trademarked lip chap.
Okay.
But she was on Flavor of Love and had a lip care line. So Giselle okay, Every Hue went nowhere. What about something else? You still got sagging skin.
But I mean, I think it's just her ego. Because look at regular Robin. Robin did them hats. Robin flipped the house. I think was she supposed to be doing some little spa or something before she got kicked
Robin
off?
has a spa now.
Is it
it's
open?
called Below 30. Even though she looks so
say,
hard.
Ooh, is it open though?
Yeah, is it open?
It's open. She talked about it on because I'm reviewing on.
I was gonna say, thank goodness you do, because I don't listen. I look to you. Yep, I look for you for the roundup.
There is a house. I am now listening to the Housewives podcast because there is a Housewives podcast for every day of the week.
There is.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And now that oh God, Nene and Sierra came back with another oh, thank God you were in here, Broke but Bougie, because I want to ask you this. Why does our podcast and with this Nene, this Southeast Atlanta thing, because it's they all look, why do they all have to look the same? And I it's giving public access. It really is. And they were shouting out the designer of the space. And I was like, this looks like a wound. You look like you were inside of the body. It was giving the Magic School Bus. All of it was red everywhere inside. It looked like you were inside of an organ, like the heart.
Oh,
you were inside of a heart on Valentine's Day. It was too much.
Not Miss Frizzle.
Because deep down, Nene knows she's an imposter. Deep down, Nene knows she's an imposter and is catching up with her. Because like we have discussed before, I met Nene years ago. Maybe like the second season at some VIP thing. My girlfriend hooked me up at an event. She was so cool. Now I noticed Greg was walking 3 steps behind her, but that's a whole other conversation. But she was cool, She was cool. She was funny. She let the fame get to her head where she feels she doesn't have to do anything. I mean, Alex, even when we had that conversation the other day, Kim Zolciak at least had a show. Do you realize Nene can't do anything by herself? And when she has these opportunities, she sabotages them like MasterCard Marlo.
Ooh.
I mean,
And the fact that Marlo sabotaged that
that
fashion
candy show. Yeah, that candy show. That's what I'm saying. They don't want to do anything. It's like, hey, if your talent is on your back, yo, do you, boo. Just have some coins on the side, have some investments, do something. Because when I heard about her podcast, and I'm sitting here like, what is Nene gonna talk about? She has 52 filters. She doesn't look like herself.
Well, the sad thing is now Cynthia went over to Dear Media, who does a lot of the Pinto podcast, shall we say, but they have that formula down to a science where Cynthia and Crystal's podcast is good.
I'm going to listen to it because you recommended it. But just think I understand, Alex. Cynthia, how can I put this? Cynthia is pink toe likable. Cynthia has been a model. Cynthia knows how to turn it on, turn it off. She knows how she can transcend different communities.
She knows how to work it and be seen.
Thank you. Nene doesn't know how to do that. And see, a lot of these reality stars don't realize what you was doing in 2000 don't work in 2025. The audience has evolved. But here's another thing. You know the saying, it's better to be liked than to be qualified. Cynthia is liked. Nene is not liked. She sued a whole network once she didn't get what she wanted. When all the other people was talking about discrimination, she didn't open her mouth. So who's going to fool with her?
Clearly nobody, because Rye stopped working with her. Tyler has never reached out. And she was, nobody hired her for years. Now she's slowly come back on NBC. But I kind of feel like maybe the pull of Nene and the allure of Nene, like, I feel like she doesn't know how to capitalize on her gifts. Like, she should be doing a podcast about reality TV as a veteran, giving her behind the scenes perspective.
That's the best thing they could do.
But see, she has extreme low self-esteem. She was supposed to be doing something with Bethany. That didn't go anywhere.
Bethany sucks. I wouldn't do anything with Bethany. Bethany needs to be by herself. She only wants to talk to the camera.
But see, here's the thing about Bethany, though, that Nene doesn't realize just how dumb she is. Bethany has the business sense. Remember when Candy was marrying old boy Todd, and she said, Bethany called her up and said, look, sis, I'm just telling you this so you don't make the same mistake I do. You make sure in that prenup you have something that he got to leave the house. And Candy talked about how Bethany gave her marital advice for a prenup and also business advice. Nene, why aren't you listening to Bethany? You had Swag Boutique. I knew people in Atlanta said that she had cute stuff, but you let it go because your husband was supposedly messing around with one of the staff members.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
See, you're supposed to be about business. Hey, the person he was messing with a settlement, move them on and get dragged together and keep it going. That lounge she had. See, the problem was my friend said people expected Nene to be there every day. Nene didn't want to be there every day.
I don't think she should have been. Like Candy isn't at tags every day. Rashida isn't at pressed every day.
No, they're not. But I mean, they're coming around. They're actually kind of like running. You know what I'm saying? They're checking in, running the business, or at least making a that she's want to be there. Because even when she had the little TV, the new whatever, that was cute.
And that's it's so sad that she's come out with this podcast now, and it's like, girl, this is what we committing to. You with Sierra, and then, oh God, the guest was Kirk.
Say what?
Yeah, I don't want that.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, honest to God, like, it would have been more interesting if you had me and Chris on. It would have looked dead ass. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. There's nothing wrong with Kirk, but it's like, this isn't the reality mashup that we're looking for. Like, it's going down. Like, don't be.
Wait a minute. Do you hear what you said? You said there's nothing wrong with Kirk.
Well, okay. If
I'm just teasing. I know you're just trying to move it along, but I'm like, the phrase you chose to use.
as far as because Sierra's on the show, it's like you're gonna have some people
I
to
know.
Who was
So it's
racist
like-
over that podcast?
but it's like y'all just it should be like, Nene, you should be doing more than basically being an extra on a love and hip hop podcast. Ooh.
See, she's alienated everybody, just like Nicole M. Why is Nene not on Traitors? Phaedra was on Traitors, the cleanup woman of reality TV.
Damn.
Because Nene probably thinks she's too good for Traitors.
No,
I wonder if they won't let her talk about it too much because, like, I mean, do you think she's completely dropped that lawsuit, or do you think that there's still something going on? Because I agree with you, Alex. I think the smartest thing that she could have done would be to do what the other successful housewives have done, which is talk about, as a former cast member, the shows at hand and give their opinion. I mean, you've been listening to Two Teas in a Pod, and that blew up because both of them are, happy to run their mouths about all the shows. But that's what we want. We want the inside opinion. I don't care what, like, you think about just about anything.
exactly. It's like you have a very unique perspective of being there at the inception. We want to hear your expertise. Like, and also I feel like you should be producing a reality show, or at least a consulting producer. You come on set and shake it up. Okay, this isn't real. This isn't real. Like, why aren't you doing any of that? Like script doctoring behind the scenes.
Because that's her ego, Alex. She wants to be front and center by herself and think, I can just stand here and people are going to be interested. This is not the beginning of reality TV anymore. It's an old thing. She doesn't even want to be behind the scenes.
That I agree with you. I don't think Nene's capable. Well, nothing has stuck outside business-wise to show that she's incredibly business-minded. It does seem that she's more like talent-based. Like, let me just be a personality.
Yeah. But see,
you can't do that now.
I have always said, if you think about it, the further the years have gone with Real Housewives, it used to be you had money, you were a housewife, you might have had a side business. We looked at your fabulous life among your friends. Now, really, to me, to be on Real Housewives, you got to have a slight screw loose. You got to now.
The game has changed. I agree with you in the sense of, like, they don't pay the way that they used to, and they will knock you out when your salary gets too high, and then they'll invite you back as a friend for, like, even Jeff Lewis was talking about this because he's going to bring flipping out back to Bravo, and he was saying that when he was going back, they are not paying like they used to. But he negotiated in his contract. He's like, well, then you have to let me have other avenues for where I can make money, like, selling ads, his radio show, like, different things, right? So you really do need to be business minded when you go on this show, because it's not going to land you the kind of salary that it used to, nor is it going to be, as we've seen, right? Once you're off the show, if you don't have a strategy, your dwindling celebrity is not going to get you anywhere.
Exactly. Look at Lisa Vanderpump. She didn't need the show. They have all the restaurants. She had that little dinner table show for a second, and you have heard nothing else. But she's not hurting for money.
She's an executive producer of Vanderpump Rules, and then they did Vanderpump Villa, and she's also executive producer on The Valley. So she was smart because Vanderpump Rules allowed her to get out of the Housewives franchise, stay connected with Bravo, and still have her finger in all of it.
Got you. Yeah, it's just like I said. It's just
You gotta have a strategy.
Yeah, you definitely have to come in with the strategy. But see, for a lot of them, like they said, fame is a hell of a drug,
Yes.
and that's. I mean, look at Karen. She thinks she's an A-list celebrity. She thinks she is Viola Davis.
She thinks she's Thomas Jefferson's concubine when she's drunk.
I still say she was leaving that man's house.
Well, we've all heard the conspiracy theory, right? Because she leans over,
Yeah, they said that somebody left, but I was like, I don't think anybody left the car. I think maybe she left the person's house, ran off the road, or it could be maybe the person was following her, saw that she wrecked and kept it moving. Because the way she was so drunk, she would have spilled it all.
Anything is possible at this point. Although I do find it hard to believe. I mean, if you are going to try to get out of a DUI, it's time to bring up the fact that there was another person there driving.
Yeah, most people tell. My thing is, she could have taken this tragedy and really made it into something where these women couldn't have touched her with a 10-foot pole. If she would have admitted that she had a problem and this was her wake-up call, nobody's gonna call her out, talk down to her.
Yes, they will. Look what Tamara did to Shannon. Woo, spit.
These have no scruples. But we are 30 minutes out from the reunion, and I've got to get my dinner ready. Okay. So I will see y'all for the reunion.
Okay.
For sure.
See ya.